Modern digital cameras with an old classic look, oh so trendy and unique amongst a monotonous crowd of dull, ubiquitous digital cameras.
And this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is the Pen F. The new one, that is. It just uses the same one as the old Pen F. The look reminds you of cameras of yesteryear, but the functions are very much of this a year.
It is very much designed to tap into that whole I want to shoot a film camera because it makes me look cool but I can't be asked because it's too much fuss market. Hence the thin old school cool veneer that garnishes the digital features within.
It's not all form without function. I mean, if you just look at it, buttons and dials everywhere. Even this thing, which looks like a film rewind lever, is actually for on and off. Dials, buttons, knobby thing, dial, movie record button. When you look at the pictures online, it does look a mess, but somehow in the camera flesh, it sort of works. This pen is sexy. Now, if you pick those last three words, that could make a really dodgy website URL. It doesn't really look like a Pen F. It looks very Fuji-esque. X100, X Pro 1, X Pro 2.
And it feels as good to shoot with as the Fuji was too. There's just something so simple and straightforward about it that makes it quite fluid in the process of taking photos. Those dials are great.
The position of the dials are pretty good for your thumb and finger access, but the trouble is the grip is really not all that good. You do have an optional grip accessory, but it looks fugly. This isn't too grippy at all. The grip is not grippy. And look at that, hipsters. You can do this. It looks just like a film camera, but in a stupid way. It just doesn't look right. And it doesn't even match up with that grip there.
Someone will probably object to me complaining about the design. That's a fair point, because I guess no one would buy this camera for the looks, right?
And that's the thing with the Pen F. In some angles it looks pretty damn good. Other angles, not quite so good. And it's called the Pen F, but it looks nothing like the original Pen F.
I mean, just look at it. The EP1 looked more like the Pen F than the Pen F does.
So that's the thing about the new Pen F. It's not quite old Pen F, but what is it?
Well, one thing that is at least similar to the original Pen F is the viewfinder on the left side. That's one reason for celebration.
But a pen is a pen, and today is a very special day for the pen because it's Pancake Day. And we're going to go watch a Pancake Day race. Yay.
We've turned up to watch and photograph the Great Spitalfields Pancake Race at the Old Truman Bakery. Just as Shrove Tuesday is a blatant excuse to eat pancakes, the Great Spitalfields Pancake Race is an excuse to get dressed up in silly costumes, have a run and eat pancakes. For charity, of course.
The EVF on this is pretty good. 2.36 million dots. And there's not too much lag with this screen.
You can change the info displayed in the EVF also, along with different framing grids and lines. You've got a Scottish flag, probably a Costa Rican flag, a target thing, and a couple of waffles.
I guess the only problem I have with this viewfinder is the knowledge that it's not the best in the Olympus range. In terms of magnification, it's smaller than the EM5 II.
But there's more. It doesn't have the weather sealing that the EM5 II has. It doesn't have any, in fact. Well, at least that is something that is true to the original Pen F.
One of the key improvements is that the megapixel count has gone up. Oh, it's bloody producer. Give me a pay rise. Yes, now it's 20 megapixels versus 16 megapixels. We all thought 16 was the roof when it came to megapixels and micro four thirds sensors. But no, we're wrong. 20 megapixels. Time for some burst action. Bloody producer, bloody producer. Go bloody producer. That's why he's never in the office. He's there. There we go. Ooh, look at that burst. That is really not bad.
I'm sorry to say that I'm not convinced that the extra 4 megapixels offers a vastly improved image though. In low light, both the EM5 II and Pen F perform very similar, with ISO 6400 really pushing the limit of what is usable. It starts to look rough here with a noticeable slip in definition, and although they both go up to 25,600, anything above 6400 is not ideal.
Autofocus isn't too new, although now you've got the spot metering tied in with the focus points. It's not just in the center. So if you choose a focus point off center, it's also metering with that point.
Look, it's not perfect. When I let the camera choose the focus point, it doesn't always come up with the goods.
You know, for contrast detect AF, can't complain really. But the big new feature isn't the megapixels, it's this. There's a little knob to change from art filters to color, monochrome. I'll tell you what, when you're shooting and your middle finger is right on that knob, you get a lot of chafage from that knob. Yeah, so the art filters is self-explanatory. It changes the art filters, which is pointless because most of them are shit anyway. You can adjust the vividness of all of the colors, blue, green, yellow, etc, etc. And you've got different color profiles, 1, 2, 3. 2 and 3 are supposed to mimic slide film.
Look, only slide film looks like slide film. The colour profiles look interesting and fun, with profile 3 being more saturated and 2 being more neutral, but they don't look as gorgeous as slide film.
This is potentially the good one. You got monochrome profile 1, 2, 3. Profile 2 apparently looks like Tri-X. High contrast, really dark darks, really bright brights.
I actually quite like the mono profile too, the high contrast look with some added grain. Again, it's not film, don't expect it to look totally like Tri-X. It does offer an interesting look to your images straight out of camera though.
And then you've got some customization ability. And that is one good thing about PenF, is that you can customize, well, lots of it. You've got 4 customizable modes here. This dial can be customized, this one can't. You can customize this button. It's quite a fully featured camera. It's just a shame it isn't quite as fully featured as the EM5 II. I mean, the 5-axis stabilization does work a treat when it comes to video, but this is not really made for video. It doesn't even have a mic input. The EM5 II does. This does not.
You can take 1080 60p video at 77 Mbps. The IS does work nicely for smoothing out the camera movements. It's the same system used in the OMD cameras, although you have to make sure you use the correct settings, otherwise the video will look a bit weird. But overall, the video quality is decent, but not brilliant. For in-body stabilization, the one you get inside Olympus cameras are as good as you're gonna get. I could watch it shake its thing all day if the only other activity I could do was watching paint dry. As the sun drew closer to the horizon and my time with the PenF was drawing to a close, I had kind of mixed feelings. I mean, I enjoyed using it, I really did. I would even go as far as to say that I'd actually consider buying one. It's just that I have one big problem with the product.
You know, I'd really like the new Olympus PenF, but it kind of sits uncomfortably in between the old and the new. I mean, of course, yes, PenF, supposed to be a bit like the old PenF. Looks like an old film camera, yes. And of course, it's a digital camera, so it's got all the new features.
I mean, this is a modern camera, but they could have quite easily given it features that are seen in the EM5 II, which is favourably priced, and they didn't. It's supposed to have a nostalgic appeal, but it doesn't do that exactly perfectly either. If I were to buy this camera, it would be a compromise on something, and that's not really something I like to do.
Yeah, it looks pretty, but it's fucking miserable out there.
But given the choice of the EM5 II or the PenF, I'll take the PenF any day of the week.